Hey there, friends. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tina Diana Yoga. Today I have a short sequence for you, Yoga for Beginner sequence. This is a basic flow that will be great for anyone new to the practice, but also anyone who's looking to slow things down a little bit and get back to the basics. So we'll get started today in Child's Pose. Balasana. So coming to all fours to begin, and then point your toes, bring your big toes here towards one another. Let your knees be pretty wide. And then drop your arms long. Let your hips settle back towards your heels. Let the belly and the front of the heart and the forehead settle down towards the ground. Just beginning to establish the connection here with your breath, with your body. Maybe even a little ujjayi. Slight whisper in the back of the throat. And know that this is really a sacred shape whenever you feel like you've perhaps lost connection with yourself throughout your practice, to come back right here. Let's all take a deep breath in together. Let it slowly sip in through the nose, filling to the base of the lungs. And then open your mouth, let it pour out. Let's take two more like that. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Last one, breathing in. And emptying out. And your next breath in, rising up, all fours, tabletop. So very important step here. We want to find harmony in the body by organizing the joints, right? So stacking the knees under the hips, the wrists right under the shoulders, and then really spread your palms wide, and then already find that connection of all of your finger pads down in the ground. Point your toes. Find length in the spine here from the tail to the crown. We're going to roll through some cat-cows. As you breathe in, let your belly drop. Lift your tail, lift your eyes. Nice little arch in the spine. As you breathe out, drag the belly up and in. Spine domes, chin draws in. Cat. Breathe in, drop the belly. Arch and look up. Breathe out, belly draws up and in, right? This initiates that movement along the spine, doming. A few more like this. Breathing in, belly drops. Breathing out, belly draws up and in. Two more, breathe in. As you breathe out and dome the spine, press the palms into the earth. One more, breathe in. Breathe out. And then this time as you breathe in, let your belly drop. Look up. And then from here, we'll tuck the toes. So get a nice little opening here in this moment through the soles of the feet. And then on your next breath out, draw your hips up and back. Let your head fall right away between your arms. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can walk it out a little bit right here. Pedal through the heels, bend one knee and then the other. Making sure, right, checking in that the palms are still spread really wide and that you're pressing down through all of your finger pads to take off as much pressure as possible on your wrists, right? And then coming to a little bit of stillness here. See if you can lift your toes and drop your heels. So we're lifting, flaring the toes up from the earth, dropping the heels. Ooh, you should feel it in the back of your legs. Ooh, stay strong and long through those arms. And then you can drop the toes back down towards the ground. Gather the belly, gather the low ribs. From here, breathe in to come forward, plank pose. Get really long from the heels to the crown. Shoulders away from ears, belly draws up and in. See if you can come back to that ujjayi breathing here for a moment. Deep, loving breath in. And then as you breathe out, child's pose. Drop your knees wide. Drop your forehead. From here, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, roll yourself up to seated hero's pose. So stacking shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. And then rise up here to stand on your knees. So if you have sensitive knees, you might want to place a blanket or something that you have, something soft that you have at home underneath you to support your lovely knees. Okay, so coming to rise up on the knees, still finding that point of the toes, a little scoop of the tail underneath you, and then reaching up through the fingertips, even right here, turning those pinky fingers in towards one another, thumbs out. And then see if you can begin to just shift the weight a little bit more into your left shin. Step the right foot to the top of your mat. So you're right in a little crescent lunge here, Anjaneyasana. You can begin to draw the weight a little bit more forward into your front foot. Right? As you do so, keep reaching up through the fingertips, but still finding a little softness in the shoulders away from the ears as much as possible. See if you can lift the gaze a bit without lifting the chin. And then as you shift the weight forward, 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 slowly and gently, right? Beginning to stretch the front of your left thigh. If it's cool with your shoulders, you might even allow your palms to press. And a little prayer here, still reaching up through the fingertips, perhaps a little arch, but not going crazy with it, right? And then dropping your palms to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, keep your left palm on the ground. You might even want to tense your fingertips, so come up on your left fingertips, and then breathing in to reach your right fingertips to the sky. So it's a low lunge twist here. Now, if you're having trouble evening out the hips or really lifting that back thigh, you might want to drop your back knee right back down to the earth. The most important thing here is that we want to level out through the hips. Right knee moves forward, left heel moves back, lifting through that back thighs so that we can twist right from the belly. One last moment here. Maybe look up towards your right palm as you roll your left shoulder back. And then gently drop your right palm to the ground. Breathe in to look forward. You're in a low lunge. Breathe out, plant the palms, step your right foot back into downward facing dog. You can once again pedal it out, say hello. And this time breathing in to come forward, plank pose, get long. As you breathe out, drop your knees and then keep the elbows so close by your sides as you slowly lower your chest down to the ground. Once you're there, lay yourself out long. Big toes touch a little point of your toes, right? Keeping the toes on the ground, see if you can find a little lift to your thighs. Palms wide under your shoulders, chin in, and then breathe in to lift your head and your heart together, baby cobra. Breathe out to drop your heart and your forehead back down to the ground. Again, breathe in, baby cobra, elbows drawing back and in, strength through the tops of the thighs. And then breathe out, tuck the toes, travel over the knees as you come back, downward facing dog. Plant your finger pads, drop your head, take a deep breath in, and then open your mouth. Breathe in to come forward, plank pose. Breathe out, drop the knees wide, drop the head, child's pose. Breathe in, vertebra by vertebra, roll up. Stacking the joints, Virasana. And then rising up onto your knees as you breathe in. Knees right under hips. Rotate pinky fingers in. Find that little scoop of the tail underneath you. And then have a little fun with it, right? Feel free to have some fun as you step that left foot forward. Ooh, it's like a little stomp, maybe. Right when you get there, just feeling into it, right? So slowly beginning to draw the weight forward into your front foot. But at the same time, reaching actively up and perhaps a little bit back through your fingertips. Send some loving awareness, some loving breath to the front of your right thigh, right hip. Maybe your palms press. Right in this mudra, Anjali mudra, prayer, gesture of finding a little balance, a little harmony in our bodies and our minds. One last moment here, you might arch it open just a tad. And then release your palms to frame your front foot. Right fingertips to the ground. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. On your next breath in, left fingertips reach up. So we want, right, again, that leveling out through the hips. So left hip drops a bit, right thigh lifts. And then see if you can find an even, long line of energy through your arms. Twist it right from the belly. Maybe you look up. And then gently drop your left palm to the ground. Breathe in to look forward, low lunge. Plant your palms, step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in to come forward, plank. You might drop the knees, right, if you're having trouble keeping the elbows in. Otherwise, belly and elbows in slowly on the count of your exhale, lowering down. Point your toes, lift the thighs. Breathe in to lift your beautiful hearts, baby cobra. See if you can lift your eyes without lifting your chin. And then empty out, downward facing dog. From here, make it a nice, slow, juicy, relaxed walk to the top of your mat. Letting anything sort of manifest, right? Any movements that are calling to you. Once you get there, a little bend of the knees, maybe a lot of bend of the knees, right? As you come into Uttanasana, forward fold, right? So depending on how open your hamstrings are today, right? You can grab opposite elbows here. And then really just letting the weight of the elbows, the weight through the crown of the head, fold you into yourself. And see if you can root through all four corners of the feet. Maybe even flare those toes up from the ground for a moment and then drop them back down. Maybe a little shake through the head. A little horse breath. And then let your arms dangle. We're going to lengthen the legs as much as we can, breathing in for Ardha Uttanasana. So palms on shins, shoulders soften away from ears. Find length through the spine as you drag the belly up and in. Breathe out to hinge at the hips, melt over your legs. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, find length through the spine. Breathe out to fold into yourself. From here, little bend in the knees. Head super heavy, arms heavy, vertebra by vertebra, roll yourself on up. To Tadasana. You might need to fix your hair, fix your shirt. That's cool. Once you've done that, arms by the sides, palms face forward. Let your eyes soften or even close for a moment. Standing tall, right? Tadasana is mountain pose. The strength of showing up for our practice. The strength to move into something new, right? Flutter your eyes open, breathe in. Circle the arms around you, palms press above you perhaps, Urdhva Hastasana. Then breathe out to drag the prayer into your heart center. Chin draws in, arms by the sides, Tadasana. Right here, bring your hands on your hips. We're gonna step back into a warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1, from standing top of the mat. So keeping right foot where it is, you'll step your left foot back towards the back left corner of your mat, right? But make sure that you have a little bit of a shorter, wider stance. So warrior one is more of a grounding warrior pose, right? So we want to feel really stable, not like we're on a tightrope ready to like fall over, right? So make sure that you have that wide stance. Back toes turned forward ever so slightly. That's to protect your back knee. I want to protect you so that you can do this practice for a long time. And then find a little lift through the inner arch of your back foot. And then a lot of strength and length coming through the back leg. So outer edge of your back foot up to your left hip, right? Strong and long. Use that to steer your left hip forward a little bit, right hip back, drawing the right knee over the right ankle, shoulders over hips. From here, if all's feeling groovy, you might V your arms open. Pinky fingers rotate in, thumbs rotate out. Ujjayi. And take one last deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to open it up into warrior two. So your left arm moves back, toe heeling your feet so that they're a little bit narrower and longer, right? So thinking a little bit more heel to heel here. Back toes still turned in ever so slightly. Still finding that length and strength from the outer edge of the back foot to your back hip. Right? And then that opening through the front hip by reaching the right knee forward and out towards your right pinky toe. Now reach your fingertips long. Organize the shoulders over the hips. But then allow the shoulders to really soften, right down the back. Think shoulder blades kissing as your drishti, your gaze, moves towards your front palm. Right here, flip both of your palms up to the sky. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Let your left palm land lightly on your left thigh. Keep your legs super steady. Reach your right fingertips straight up first, and then maybe a little bit back, right? But not losing the integrity in that front lunge. From here, lengthen your front leg. Pause. We're in a little bit of a reverse triangle moment. Soften the shoulders, left shoulder back a little bit. Find that length and stretch through right side body. And then keep your front leg long. Bring your arms back to warrior two style. From here, drag your hips back. Reach forward through your front fingertips. When you can't reach forward anymore, cartwheel your right palm lightly to your right shin. Left fingertips to the sky. Your gaze might be up towards your left palm, but know that's a little bit more advanced, right? It might be down towards your bottom foot, which is super grounding. Feel the reach through the arms and the fingertips, expansiveness through the collarbones, shoulder blades kissing along the back. As your left hip moves a little bit forward, your left shoulder moves back. So there's just a really gentle twist here happening as well. Take a deep breath in. And then breathe out. Rebend your front knee. Palms frame the front foot. Lift your back heel. From here, one more little low lunge twist. Right fingertips to the sky. You might see how this one feels different from the first. Breathe it in. And then breathe out. Right palm to the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Little vinyasa here, breathing in plank pose. Choose knees up or down as you slowly lower elbows in to the ground. Lengthen yourself long, breathe in, lift your heart, baby cobra. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Make it a walk forward to the top of the mat. Maybe a little wiggle of your hips along the way. Uttanasana, forward fold. Breathe in for Ardha Uttanasana. Lift and lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, melts. Head drops. This time as you breathe in, rise up with a little bit more momentum. Urdhva Hastasana. Palms pressed, look up. Breathe out, drag the prayer to heart center. Find a little lift of the sternum into your prayer. And then arms by your sides. Hands on your hips. Left foot stays where it is. Right foot steps back and wide. Make sure those back toes are turned forward. Right? Almost like 45 degrees forward. So it's quite a bit for warrior one. Find the engagement through the back leg that allows the right hip to move a little bit forward, left hip a little bit back, and then draw your left knee forward over your left ankle. Maybe arms by your ears. Pinky fingers in. Find the engagement of your belly and your low ribs. Feel your feet in the earth. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to open yourself up, warrior two, right? So there's an adjustment of the feet and the legs here for sure, right? So longer stance, a little bit more heel to heel. Once you get there, make sure those back toes are turned forward. You can even look down into yourself, right? It's very helpful. Let your left knee move forward and out towards your left pinky toe. Let your arms get really expansive, even right shoulder back a little bit. So organizing right shoulder over right hip. And then see if you can sink just a little bit deeper as you stay connected through the belly. Eyes towards your left palm. Flip both of the hands up to the sky. Breathe in peace. Right palm, right palm lightly on right thigh. Reach up through your left fingertips, so straight up, and then maybe a little bit back. Keep the integrity in the front leg. And then straighten that front leg long. Pause for a moment, right? Feeling that reach from big toe mound to fingertips. Let your right shoulder scoot back. Come back to warrior two arms. And then begin to reach, 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 reach. Even more than you think you can reach. And then spiral the arms into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So the palm can either be lightly on the shin, or if you want to play with your left palm wide, sort of hovering inside your left leg, you can. Also, if you have any creative something, you can put the inner arch of your foot, maybe some soup cans or shoe boxes. Can be really helpful to support you here. Soften the shoulders. Gather your ribs. Press down through the feet. Feel the inner leg lines really beginning to work here and engage. One last moment here. Right hip forward, right shoulder back. Get lighter and longer through the bottom ribs. And then gently rebend your front knee. Palms to the ground, lift your back heel. Breathe in to lift your left arm up to the sky. And then breathe out, left palm down, downward facing dog. From here, breathe in plank pose. Breathe out, child's pose. Slowly rolling up vertebra by vertebra. From here, we're going to shift our weight over into one hip. Feet in front of you. Plant your feet hips width distance already. Okay, so slightly big toes in. Arms long in front of you. Find that little cat spine action. So a little drawing in through the belly, little doming of the spine. And then see if you can slowly, ooh. You usually hit a little hiccup. It's cool. Come on down. Once you get down there, drag your heels a little bit closer towards your seat. We're gonna go for a little bridge pose flow with our breath, okay? So arms long by the sides, palms face down. Again, feet hips width, big toes slightly turned in, so think slightly pigeon-toed. Find a scooping of the tail underneath you. So as you scoop the tail underneath you here, you'll feel your low back kiss the earth, right? From there, breathe in to lift your hips up towards the sky. Chest moves in towards your chin. And then breathe out to lower your hips back down. So we're gonna flow this with our breath and add the arms. Scoop the tail, breathe in, lift the hips. At the same time, bring the arms by the ears. Breathe out, lower the hips, arms by the sides. Scoop the tail, breathe in, hips lift, arms lift. Breathe out, hips lower, arms lower. Keep your knees aligned with your ankles. Breathe in to lift. Breathe out to lower. 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out. See if you can relax the face a bit, relax the jaw. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more lift. Breathe in. This time keep your hips lifted if you can. Bring the arms back by the sides. You might stay here. You might nuzzle one shoulder and then the other shoulder underneath you. Maybe interlace the hands. And then see if you can release the bum here. Release the glutes. Press down through the feet, right, to lift yourself up. Okay, lifting the hips, chest towards the chin. See if you can smooth out your breath right here. Keep your knees drawing in over the ankles. One last moment. And then release the shoulders, release the hands with care, right? Drop your hips back down. Take a moment here, cactus the arms. Swing the knees side to side. Little flowy, free supine twist as your knees go to the left, look to the right. And then bringing your feet back where they were, hips width. We're gonna flex our right foot on top of our left thigh. So going for a little reclined half pigeon. So a little hip opener lying down. So flexing the right foot is super important here, everybody, to protect your awesome right knee, okay? So you might stay here, heavy shoulders on the ground, maybe left palm at the top of your left thigh, right palm to your right inner thigh, gently pressing your right inner thigh away from you. If all that feels good and you get the green light, you might lift your left foot, interlacing underneath the left thigh or maybe at your left shin. Keep that right foot super flexed. You might roll out your left ankle a little bit. And see if you can heavy your tail and your shoulders back down to the earth as you just breathe with this shape, right? And send some breath and some loving awareness to your outer right hip. You might even rock a little bit right to left here. Just a little rock of the baby. See if you can soften the jaw, soften the tongue, place between the eyebrows, and deepen the breath. From here, as you release the left leg. Bring it long on the ground. Hug your right knee in towards your chest and then a little bit out towards your right underarm so that we're not sort of crunching into our right side ribs. Now give it a nice little squeeze. Keep your left shoulder in particular heavy towards the ground. And then from here, you can come into a supine twist. So grabbing that outer right thigh with your left hand, drag your hips a little bit to the right, everybody, as you bring your knee over to the left. And then you can let your right arm cactus, or maybe have it be long if you can. Look towards your right shoulder. And breathe into it. Gently bringing yourself back to center. Both knees bend, feet to the ground. Let's take that on the other side. Flex your left foot on top of your right thigh. Pause for a moment, right foot still on the ground, right palm to top of right thigh, left palm to your left inner thigh. Flex that left foot and gently, right with the heel of your left palm, sort of press that left leg away from you. See if you can scoop the tail even right here, low back down towards the ground. You might stay there. You might lift your right foot, interlacing wherever you choose. Letting your tail and shoulders soften down, and then just being here with the breath a few cycles. Every breath in, left knee moves a little bit away from you. Every breath out, a gentle hugging in of that right leg towards you. Maybe a little rock side to side. Might experience some different sensations. In one side, just being as receptive as possible to that. And then gently back to center as you release the right leg, let it land long on the ground. Hug your left knee in and out towards your left underarm. Still active through that bottom leg, everybody, so really reach through that right heel. And all these poses, everything, right? Every part of our body is so awake and alive. And then dragging the left knee over to the right, hips a little to the left. If you can, look over towards your left shoulder, left palm. And melt. Softly, slowly, back to center. Let your feet be mat's width, let your knees come into kiss. Bring your left palm to your heart, your right palm to your belly. Nuzzle your shoulders down away from your ears. Draw your chin in towards your heart. And just allow yourself to be here for a moment. Connecting with the rhythm of your heart, the rhythm of your breath. And then slowly lengthening one leg long and then the other. You can keep your palms where they are or palms wide, or arms wide, palms face up. For final resting pose, Shavasana. It's a place where we get to integrate our practice. To melt into the earth. Letting any controlling of the breath go. And letting the tension go. I invite you, I encourage you to stay in Shavasana as long as you can. And if you do have somewhere to be, something to do, gently beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently coming back into your breath. Just really slowly, right in the spirit of just waking up. And bending one knee, foot to the earth, bending the other knee, foot to the earth. If it's daytime where you are, rolling over to the right. If it's nighttime, rolling over to left, right? So right side is our sun side, left side our moon. I'm gonna roll over to the right because it's still daytime here. Just letting yourself be in fetal position for a moment. On your next breath in, that makes sense. Using the strength of your arms to lift yourself up to a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes soft. Sukhasana, cross-ankled pose. Press your palms here at your heart center. Let your thumbs literally touch down on your sternum, and let there be even a little lift of your heart into your hands. Anjali Mudra, this gesture of balance, of centeredness, but also of thanks. A moment to thank yourself for showing up just as you are. We'll end with one Om together. This universal sound of all life. Take a deep breath in. Namaste, yogis. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy this channel, please feel free to hit the little red button below to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.